and how it fits into your life. So I decided I'd take him up on the challenge because I'm 63 years old and religion in my life has gone through a lot of changes. I was born and raised Catholic and went to 12 years of Catholic school. At one point I was going to be a nun. But, you know, I questioned Catholicism even from an early age because according to the Catholic Church, anybody who is not baptized within the Catholic Church is condemned to hell. And I lived with a mother who was not a Catholic and a father who was, a mother who was a very nice person and a father who was not. And even as a little kid, it didn't make any sense to me that my father had a straight shot into heaven and my mother had no chance at all. When I got into high school, I had a very personal relationship with Jesus. I went to an all-girls Catholic, small, tiny Catholic high school. And there was a chapel in the school, and I used to go into the chapel, and Jesus and I would have chats. He didn't say much out loud. I'm not that crazy, but I guess that was when I was planning on being a nun, and I never really was gung-ho about being a nun. I mainly, true confession, I mainly wanted to go into the convent because I had a terrible crush on my typing teacher, and I figured that would be a way of being with her. But she came to California shortly before I was to fly to St. Louis to join the convent, and she suggested that I wait for 6 months and give it some serious thought. And I decided at that point that I wasn't going to go into the convent, so I didn't. So throughout my married life, my husband's a Catholic, and we went to the Catholic Church, and it was kind of one of those things that you just did because it was something you always did. Catholics are not trained to think about their religion. The Pope makes all the decisions, makes it a lot easier. You don't have to worry about what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. You don't read the Bible. You just accept everything on blind faith. Well, there came a point when I stopped accepting things on blind faith. Before that, I can't remember when exactly I stopped going to church. I stopped going to church for reasons that had absolutely nothing to do with religion. We had 5 kids, and my husband is not known for being on time for anything. So it didn't really make any difference what time we left for church. If we were going to go to 8 o'clock Mass, we would leave for church at 8 o'clock. If we were going to go to 10 o'clock Mass, we would leave for church at 10 o'clock. If we were going to go to 5 o'clock Mass at night, we'd leave for church at 5 o'clock. That meant that about half the time there were no seats, and we ended up standing in the back of the church. So standing in the back of church with 5 kids is not fun. Holidays, forget it. There was one Easter that we went to church, and there were so many people there when we got there that we were standing practically out in the parking lot, which qualified as going to church. But I couldn't see or hear anything. I just got marks in wherever they give you marks for having been at church. And every Sunday I was livid. By the time we left for Mass, I was absolutely livid. And I suddenly realized the only reason I started my Sunday, every single Sunday, angry was because my husband was late for Mass. So if I didn't go to Mass, then I was fine. So I stopped going to Mass. But then along came things that I began to really question, I guess, without the weekly reinforcement of the church is right or wrong. I started looking at things, and I have an awful lot of gay friends, so the church's stance on homosexuality and on so many of the things that the church has done with respect to suppressing homosexuality bothers me a lot. I worked in an office where it was not an abortion clinic, but abortions were performed once a week, and I could see the people who were coming in for abortions, and I began to question the church's stance on abortion. Then the whole pedophilia thing came about, and I knew about the pedophilia years before it ever hit the papers, because I was aware of the fact, because I was doing a lot of typing for all sorts of people. I knew that they were moving priests around who were pedophiles. So, you know, when it hit the papers, that was no surprise to me. So basically, I have given up on Catholicism. But the problem with giving up on Catholicism is that when you're born and raised a Catholic, you are so indoctrinated that this is the only true religion it feels funny to go out searching for another religion, and I guess I don't have that burning need to have an organized religion in my life. I guess what I've come to over the years is to accept that I'm an agnostic. I believe that there is something out there. I look at babies. I look at these puppies that I'm taking care of. I look at nature. I look at everything around me, and it just seems like there's a guiding hand in something. I think about death, and I've lost my best friend and 2 of my children, and I can't believe that death is the end, that matter or that energy that is the essence of you just stops existing. Wasn't it they say you can't, energy isn't created or destroyed? Isn't that what they say? So I believe that there's something after life. I don't know what it is, but there's something after life. I look at the kinds of things that are being done in the name of Christianity, and I cringe, because somebody who has this firm belief that my way is the right way and my God is the right God scares me, because not only do Christians feel that way, Muslims feel that way, Jews feel that way. Everybody who has a strong belief in their religion believes that this is the way it's supposed to be. And I think religion is a nice thing to have in one's life, but I think that when it comes to the point where you feel it necessary to go to war because somebody else believes differently from you, I think that's wrong. I think that if God were here, if Jesus were here, if Muhammad were here, if whoever were here, the message would be that our reason for existing is to learn how to get along together, no matter what our beliefs are. A friend of mine, when I knew I was getting ready to make this thing, I got an email from a friend who actually he asked me to read his journal entry, and I'm going to put his journal link down here someplace. And he's telling the story. He's a gay man, and he's a son of a Baptist minister, and he's telling the story about having heard from somebody. He's belonged to a Baptist rock and roll band, and he's been with his partner for 21 years. And so he gets this message from a member of his old Baptist rock and roll band, and they're having a reunion, and they'd like to have him come and play. He's a professional musician. They'd like to have him come and play. But in order to come and play with them, he'll have to give up his gay lifestyle, give up the man that he loves, that he's lived with for 21 years, and then go play this one concert with them, which I think is it's beyond chutzpah to think that you would ask somebody to do that, and that you would, God, it just drives me crazy when I see the kinds of things that are being done in the name of various religions. And you look at the Middle East and you see people murdered because of their religion, but you look at this country and you see murder of the spirit because of religion. You look at the Boy Scouts of America and you see the kind of put down of young gay people because the Boy Scouts in this country is managed by the Mormons, who don't want to have anything to do with Mormon kids. Doesn't make a difference if the rest of the world, the Boy Scouts, don't think anything about it. In this country, you have to think a certain way. You have to believe in God, and you have to be a heterosexual in order to be a Boy Scout. So there's just so much crap that comes in with organized religion. I believe, as I said, I believe that there is something. I'll even go so far as to call it God. When my best friend died, he died 10 years before our first child did. The first thing I wanted to do was to go and sit inside a church, which I did. I didn't, I was just trying to figure it out for myself. It was a quiet place to figure it out. I believe there's a spirit that's around me. I believe that if I lead a good life, that that's what I'm here for. I'm here to be a good person, to help other people where I can, to make a difference where I can, to lead a loving, giving life, but not to be a Catholic or a Baptist or a Buddhist or a Mormon or anything else. It's just to be the best person that I can be. And I guess that's my take on religion. At least I have now probably gone on much, much, much too long, but somebody asked, so that's what I had to say about it.